the shooter of
They said he was a light-skinned male.
He was just Italian.
Yeah. The NYPD seen these pictures of this clearly white man, and we're talking about the shooting of the CEO of, I think it was like United States Healthcare, U.S. Healthcare, which, you know, I didn't know about. Learned that they are some pretty horrible people. They're like a horrible healthcare. I mean,
all
system.
healthcare people are, but yeah.
But they denied like over 30% of their claims, far more than any other healthcare. And so when the CEO got killed, there wasn't really an outpouring of emotion towards him. In fact,
the exact opposite.
It's so funny. It's like in this divisive time,
right
after this divisive election, what could unite America? The murder of healthcare. The assassination, the morning in New York assassination of a healthcare CEO is what united America.
And it's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy because that brought people together.
Yes.
And like almost like, was this before or after Assad fled Syria?
This is before.
This is before. So it was like this chain of events.
But it was fascinating to see both like right and the right and the left. Like mainly because again, like when you look at like most debt that people incur is healthcare, medical debt.
Man, listen.
And then I just heard all these stories about how people were denied 4 or 5 times, died as a result, suffered as a result. And so it was fascinating to see this go into a conversation about how bad our healthcare system is and how really nobody really wants to work it out. But, you know, the man supposedly, somebody was arrested. Not by the police, and that's a whole nother conversation about
the Cooper Troopers got Luigi, man. The Cooper Troopers, man.
But it is a conversation about how the NYPD says this was a light-skinned man. Clearly, he was white. There was also this conversation about how billions of dollars of NYPD, and they didn't find this dude. You know what I'm saying? Somebody at the McDonald's said, yo, this looks like my man.
Man, never light snitches, man.
No. And so he was called Altoona. Miracle, do you have a comment, Terry?
There's so many comments. The first comment is like, I never understood like why you would commit crimes and not stash the gun and keep the same outfit on. So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
He clearly didn't care.
Because I was like, clearly this is not somebody who is a criminal mastermind.
Correct.
Who was trying to commit crimes. This was someone maybe in the heat of the moment, stress of the world, decided to do something. Because it just didn't seem that they were just like creating this opportunity to kill. Just because it was like,
Well, not really heat of the moment, because one of the things that came out was that there was the writing on the bullets.
What we're saying is we believe this is a crime of passion, which is evidenced by the fact that they didn't do anything to prevent themselves from being caught.
Okay, got you, Miracle. Okay, I see where you're going. I see where you're going. Yeah.
The first thing was surprising to me is this is a light-skinned Caucasian or whatever, but how many people were stopped and frisked in New York?
Come on.
Great question.
Come on. Yeah,
how many people with these green jackets had the police knocking at their doors?
The jacket was green and not black?
That they fit the profile.
Yeah, black hoodie, green.
Correct.
So that was like the first thing.
Yes.
Which I think was a no. The third thing is, to me, was like very funny how like everybody was like, we are not a country where we solve violence, where we use violence to solve our problems, and like, how dare y'all root for this man, this cold-blooded killer?
Have you ever seen a movie? Just any movie.
Bonnie and Clyde, like all
America celebrates cold-blooded killers all the time.
Like all of this.
We have a president-elect that has 91 felonies. What are we talking about?
Who has said he's coming to destroy the enemy within?
Yes.
Told people to stand back and stand by.
Wanted to see violence on January 6th. He called for violence consistently throughout his campaign run.
Yes.
And so it's like fascinating to watch people who have perpetuated violence and called for violence now sit there and look at the results of violence and be like, oh my God, like,
but Miracle,
how did we get here?
I thought we had no place for political violence.
Exactly. Exactly.
I thought, so to me, it's just like you're signing bombs and you're talking about like violence is not okay.
Right.
You're like sending people to prison every day and saying like violence is not okay.
Right.
And one of
you're passing policies and laws that give billions and billions of dollars to police departments, despite the fact that you have all of these cases of brutality. I mean, we literally have cops making their own crack cocaine. Like, what the fuck?
They were like, I wonder if they
everywhere.
Like, I wonder if they put on like Master P and we're just like cooking
Ice Cream Man.
Like that to me is just like mind-boggling. And when we're talking about like healthcare, I'm someone who have had like my healthcare claims denied like over and over again, right? Yeah. And I'm told that if I don't take the medicines, that I'm going to die. If I don't do this, I'm not going to be here. But my health insurance company is just like, yeah, you know, sucks to suck. You got to pay out of pocket. And so making people literally choose between food and medicine is murder. Yes. Making people literally scrounge up their last and literally go homeless, it to me is murder. Yes. And like for me, I use assistive technology. I'm not even allowed to buy it. I have to rent it. If I miss a payment, it gets repossessed. If I don't use it enough to what the insurance company has put as arbitrary markers, they get to repossess it, right? So when we're talking about like the violence of these healthcare industries, it's not just that they are denying claims, it's also they are skyrocketing prices so you can't afford it. Like EpiPens that literally save your life now is like $30. Like remember, like 3 years ago, they're like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. So when people are upset about these healthcare companies, it's because they're committing murders every day. They're slowly making people die every day, and people have a right to be upset.
Yes,
absolutely. And that was one of the biggest things that I think I noticed when I got older, and my dad would talk about when we came from Canada, is like the loss of socialized medicine, socialized healthcare. And like my father had seizures when we were younger, and the amount of debt that he accrued because of going to hospital for this, right? Like him being discharged because his insurance wasn't good enough. And it's just like a crazy thing because America is such this fascinating case that lauds all these technological medical advancements across the world, but like, you know, like the infant mortality rate is as it is in Pittsburgh. Right. And then you essentially just with this healthcare system, you penalize people for being sick.
Right. But not only that, it's like you discover these drugs and these cures. Not to heal people,
right? Just to profit,
but to try to make money. Yep. So it's like, okay, we have this thing, and it's like, oh, we can help people, but no, we got to charge all this exuberant amount, and then the more money you can make by profiting off of sick, dying people, the more benefits you get. Trouble.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So when I was in college, I took a marketing course, and in the marketing course, we were talking about markup prices.
Niggas love school.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And we learned in that marketing class that one of the highest markup rates is in prescriptions.
Yes.
Yeah. And prescriptions are marked up like 3,000%.
That because they know. Right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I had asked why. I was like, why are they marking shit up like 3,000%?
You gonna not buy it?
My teacher was like, well, it's because they know that people need this
thing.
It's crazy. And that they'll pay whatever price they put on it to get it. And I'm like, that's crazy.
And it was mad about that.
Normal.
Yes.
And it's like some people, I know someone specifically had to get another form of insurance, had to get a secondary insurance to cover the cost for some of the medicine that they need. Yeah. So it's like taking out a second mortggage on a house, you know what I mean, for your life, which is just insane.
And interestingly enough, because we did it's called the Coalition to Reimagine Public Safety. We actually put a report out. And in this report, it talks about violence. It says, it's essential to understand that violence is far more than just crime. Violence is an experience that limits or diminishes people's capacity to survive. Unemployment, inadequate housing, lack of access to medical care, subpar public education systems, food insecurity, and racism are all violence. Violent crime within our communities is often a response to these forms of structural and systemic violence. So again, this was a violent act that was in response to a industry and a company that has killed. And so it was all these memes of like the 60,000 or 70,000 people that died as a result of these claims that were denied by U.S. healthcare compared to like terrorists that committed crimes in the United States. It was like, who killed more people? And it was also fascinating to see, on one hand, this absolutely like clutching of pearls around the murder and assassination of this CEO. And on the other hand, this absolute defense of this white man and Daniel Penny, murdering a black man on the subway, putting him in a chokehold and stopping his breathing. And so it's like, oh, I get it. It's the victim. When the victim is a poor black person, murder away, kill away. If the victim is a poor, like nameless person, right? From another country, right? Oh, those are poor, nameless people. We don't know who the people are in Gaza. So what? Right? That's fine. Violence is fine in that case. But when the violence is, some CEO, some rich white man, then it's like, then Elon Musk has to say, hey, well, wait a second. We're just going to kill CEO. Wait a second now. Hold on now. Violence is never the answer.
Because that hits close to home for him. You see
another 1,000%.
rich CEO get murdered. He's like, whoa. I know I supported Donald Trump and all of his antics. Let's not do this, guys.
Yes, it was the New York Times had a headline, the chilling fatal shooting of a CEO has business leaders on edge. And somebody reposted it and said, what a time to be alive. Because again, it's always us on edge. And why are we on edge? Because we're struggling to make ends meet, to pay our bills. You got people on edge because it's like, is there going to be a Christmas this year, right? You got people on edge because if you get sick, can you afford to be sick? Can you afford to manage it? So we've been on edge, right? As the general public. And it's like now you're on edge. Now you can experience, or you get to experience the stress that people go through every day.